All right, the final project that we're going to do as far as human, well, I mean, as far as out of this pattern of a farmer, is, now we've done the little elf, we've done the farmer, and now we're going to do the Uncle Sam. Okay? Now, when you cut the pattern out, like here, I would suggest you go just a little bit further down, because the little Uncle Sam's got a little goatee like in here. So you want to cut that just a little bit longer so that you'll have plenty of room for that. Okay? Alright. And here's my little cutout of the Uncle Sam. And we're going to do that one. Alright. Now, once again we establish our boundary lines. The brim of the hat, the top of the hat, where the head goes. Okay? And of course, the separation of the feet, which we'll do right now. I like to separate the feet right off the bat. Gives us a little idea. Just like that. That's all I've done. Simple as that. Alright. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to separate the brim of the hat from the top of the hat, in other words. I'm not really sure what they call the top of the hat. I know there's a brim of the hat, the top part here. I don't know if they have a specific name for it or not. Anyway, it's all part of a hat, so. Now, if we look at the Uncle Sam, we notice his hat is like the leprechaun square. Sort of square, and on the farmer, of course, it's more of a round. So, we're looking to that. And we want to separate the brim from the head. So we cut, and we come to the head and separate that from the... Now, by this time, if you've already carved a couple of these, you should not have too much of a problem working on another one. The more you do, the more you get used to it. Alright, see? Cut this down here. Cut this down here. Like I told you, I always like to have a little bit more than necessary because that helps me. If you can cut off, but you can't add to. Always remember that in carving. So if you cut something too small, it's hard to add anything to it, in other words. So I always like to add a little bit more, and then I can get rid of it. Alright, let's go ahead and establish where our head is here, and come down and take this off here. Where it is here, and take that off there. These are what I call boundaries, of course. Now, in this Uncle Sam, his hands are in his pockets. Let's look at him. Real close. His hands are in his pockets. Now, the key is his little clothes here. He's got a little, almost like a tuxedo tails here that comes back here. So, what you want to do is you want to come up here and draw a little line going down here like this. And bring that back down here. I'm sorry. Let me get that out of the way. Bring that back down here like this, in other words. It's like a little, I guess you would call them like tails on a, and it all the way goes back here. On a tuxedo, yeah, on a tuxedo. And then, from that point, you also have a little, and I might have brought this down. No, I didn't bring it down too far. You also have a little vest here before you get to the pants. So you come down here just a little bit lower and you make your little vest. Okay? These are also boundary lines, and then the rest, of course, is your, now your vest doesn't go all the way out here. Your tails do. So you're going to bring it all the way down here, and it's going to come in the back. Okay, so we're going to set those boundaries. All right, let's come back here. And we're going to come up here. Come over here. Well, we start taking wood off, in other words, and we're going to come up here and go ahead and set our boundary for our little thing. Okay, see that? See that like that? Now, then you can kind of know in the back like here about how far the pants will come up. Okay? And from here, then you can come up to about right there on your pants, in other words. All right? Of course, we'll bring this back together. All right, let's go ahead and work on the hat a little bit. I want to be careful. Hat brim is always something to not force wood or anything like that, because it is thin. And we're going to bring this top up here. And we're going to go ahead and just start rounding off this brim here. And like I said, you go from all sides and you kind of round it off. Okay, and we'll just take a little bit off of the thing here. I'm sorry, the face here. And also by, and of course the hat brim will have to come down. It's too thick. So that's another thing, you start bringing your hat brim down. All right. Now, also by setting your boundaries for your little tails, then you're able to find out you don't want your hands to go further down than this, in other words. In other words, they're going to go into the coat there. So that way you can kind of get a general idea of where the hands will go. Of course, they're in the pockets. The guy wrote me the other day, said, would you please show us how to do a hand, because most of the time you put them in the pockets. But Lord, I've done, in fact I did a whole whole series on a hand, how to do a hand and stuff. You know the best way to learn how to do a hand? Just start doing it. Look at the video. In fact, I have a video that says how to carve a hand, and it shows you the different ways that you can carve a hand. But the best way to learn is just to start doing it, in other words. Yes, I put a lot of my characters, I put their hands in their pockets, and a lot of times I carve their hands out. In other words, carving a hand is no problem. But to me, the hands are not the character, okay? The face is the character. I mean, you can have the hands doing a lot of different things and stuff, but that doesn't, to me, that's not what brings the character of the figure out. The face does, especially in flat plane carving. The hands, I mean, the face is your key, because your face gives that look. Okay? Same thing here. So, all right, I need to cut off a little bit more of this. And even though I don't mind carving the hands and stuff and put them in different positions, to me that's not where the character of the person comes in. The face and all that other stuff is. Unless you're doing something, unless there's a movement involved or whatever. Now on these little figures, you don't get the detail of the hand as much, of course, as you would if you you do a larger figure, because they're so small. There we go. Okay, there we go. We're looking good. People say, why do you jump around so much? I do. I don't know why, but I'll jump from one area to another. And I think a lot of it has to just do with proportion. I just try to get the proportion of how it looks. For instance, I can look at the brim of this hat and know it's way too thick, and know that I have to bring it down. And as I bring a character down, as I go from side to side a lot of times, and I look at the in proportion, but mainly to the face a lot, how big the face is. Now in characters, your face can be bigger, and they'll say that's not going to be a big bother. But you still want some proportion. You don't want it just to be totally and completely out of proportion. Now on the Uncle Sam, one of the things is the painting is just as important as the carving, because the painting gives it the life that it has. And in most carvings, painting doesn't give it the life. I know a lot of people use natural wood and stuff like that, but to leave these natural in basswood would not be a wise move, because it just, basswood is wonderful to carve, but it just doesn't have and it's wonderful to stain and paint and stuff, but by itself it doesn't have a good tone, not like walnut or teak or cherry or what's the walnut that's softer? Oh, brother, I can't think right now. But it's much better. It doesn't have its own natural beauty. Let's put it that way. It's just white. So, all right, I'm going to cut in between the legs here. So you don't have the, leaving it natural just doesn't look good. Painting it, and when I say paint it, I mean wash it with paint. Wash the acrylics where the wood shows through. So what I'm just trying to, of course, put that in there. I'm just trying to explain to you that that left by itself, basswood does not look good, or it doesn't have any character to it. And when you paint something, of course, you bring this a little bit closer, you bring out the character in the person. Now, overpainting a carving can also ruin a carving. If you overpaint it where it looks like a plastic or something, and then you really do injustice to the carving, because you want the wood to show through. Now on the Uncle Sam, you'll paint a little bit more in that thing. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and cut along here for the vest. Cut along here for the vest. Okay. And actually the vest just sort of comes back over here and then stops. Same thing here. Just comes over here and then stops. Okay? Just like that. It doesn't extend all the way down or anything like that. Alright, our character's looking really nice. He's starting to really take shape and form and stuff like that. Let's come back here and go ahead and just do our little arms where they come up in the back. Make a cut. Come from the inside. Voila. Make a cut. Come from the inside. Voila. Okay? I'm of course cut this back here, and cut this back here. All right, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to come back, continue to work on this little figure. We'll work on the head. In fact, it's already basically, I got a little knife cut, a cut there where the nose can start. Okay, God bless.